Today I'm going to show you how to make this material. The shader works with pre-existing textures as well as just a flat base color. We're going to do this in 3 steps. First, I'm going to show you how to mix your pre-existing textures in with a 2-color gradient at the edges. Then I'm going to show you how to get this textured effect for the gradient. And lastly, I'm going to show you how to get a highlight for your material for added depth. Before we get started, these are the tutorials I watched while developing this material. I highly recommend you guys going and watching them after you've watched this video. So without further ado, let's get started. I'm starting with this very basic shard geometry, and I created a simple material for this in Substance Painter. There's nothing much to it. It's just a simple gradient with some edge damage. I'm gonna start by making some space for the nodes. This is a fairly simple setup, so we're just gonna use 4 different nodes in this. The layer weight node in combination with the color ramp will be used for the mask, for the edges. The noise texture will add some variation to the mask itself, and the mix color node to mix everything together for the final base color. I'm gonna start with the layer weight node. You can see that there's 2 outputs for the layer weight node. The first is Fresnel, which gives this sort of a highlighted edges look, and the second is Facing, which is a lot more intense and which is what I prefer. You can change the way it looks by changing the blend color, but I actually prefer to plug it into a color ramp node instead. That way it gives me a lot more control over the look. We are gonna use this mask that's coming out of the color ramp to mix in one edge color with our pre-existing base color. The black is where I want the texture to show up, and the white is where I want the color at the edges to show up. So I'm just gonna adjust it until I'm happy with it, and then I'm gonna add a mix color node. I'm gonna plug the base color into the A of the mix color node and the output from the color ramp into the factor. Now you can see that we have a color at the edges, and only the black parts of the mask are showing the texture that I have created. I'm gonna choose a different color. I like this color, and I don't want the effect to be this intense, so I'm just gonna lower the value of the white until I have the effect that I want. Now we already have one color. I'm just gonna press Ctrl+Shift+D and duplicate the color ramp and duplicate the mix color node. I'm gonna plug in the result of the first mix color node into the second mix color node and the output from the color ramp into the factor, and I'm gonna change the color to something that I like more. Now I want this dark blue to show up only at the edges, so I'm gonna adjust the color ramp until I am satisfied. I'm pretty happy with the gradient, but it's too smooth. I want to add some texture to the gradient itself. We're gonna go back all the way to the layer weight node, and we're gonna add a noise texture and a mix color node. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the layer weight node with the noise texture so we can have some good texture in the mask itself. I'm gonna plug the facing into A and the output from the noise texture to B. I'm gonna change the blending mode to multiply. Now this doesn't look good as is, but you can change the settings of your noise texture until you're happy with the look. I'm pretty happy with this one, so I'm gonna keep this. So I'm gonna keep it like this and plug the result of this mix color node into your color ramps. Now when I go and look at the edges of my material, I can see a nice subtle texture to it. I can of course adjust it however I want using the color ramp nodes, which is what I'm doing right now. And yeah, there you have it, the textured edges. Now for the highlight, we're going to use the same techniques that we've been using up until now. I'm gonna make some more space for this. For the highlight, I'm gonna create a new color ramp node. I want only a very small highlight for this, so the black area is going to be pretty small for this one, and I don't want too much bleeding, so it's gonna be fairly sharp. I also don't want the highlight to be way too bright, so I'm just gonna raise the value of the black a little bit. I'm gonna add another mix color node. This time I'm gonna plug the output of the second mix color node into B and the output from the color ramp into the factor. And we have a highlight. That is way too intense for me, so I'm just gonna reduce it a little bit and increase the value of the gray even further. Now you can choose a different color for this highlight, or you can even add a color ramp with a bunch of different colors. You'll have to play around with the color ramps a little bit to get the look you desire, but it gives you a lot more control over it. Then just plug the output from the third mix color node into the base color, and voila, you have a nice iridescent material. To clean this up a little bit further, I'm just gonna grab all of this and put it in a group. You can name this group whatever you want. I'm gonna name it Iridescent Node. And that's it. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want more such videos from me, subscribe. And if you want more such tutorials, do leave a comment and let me know what kind of tutorials you would like. Thank you for watching.